So we're going to bring you our Class 1A and Class 2A state rankings. Shane, there were some really good games last week in the top 10 on both sides of Class 1A and 2A. You had some thrillers. I mean, if you look at Class 2A, you had St. Teresa and Tri-Valley, a top 10 matchup that went in favor of St. Teresa. You had Princeville squeaking out a win against Lewistown. Ottawa Marquette playing a much bigger school than them, and Dwight coming away with a win. But then you had a lot of doozies too. You look at Tuscola and their win over Villa Grove. You look at Athens. They lost by 3 scores to Williamsville. But man,
that's a 3A school.
Right.
Yeah, and that just shows our rankings compared to the AP. I mean, you look at our panel vote, and we had 3 teams lose last week. I mean, 3 out of 20 isn't too bad, and 2 of those were top 10 teams that played each other, and the third was a 3A team. So, I mean, realistically, we've got it exactly where we want it to be.
Right, exactly. So, with that, we will bring you our Class 1A and our Class 2A state rankings. We're going to roll out our Class 1A state rankings after Week 1. There were some good games, some big losses, some close losses, some expected losses. But, nonetheless, still got to rank the teams,
right?
And it's the fun part of it, because to be honest, I think we got a better pulse on it than the AP does.
Well, the AP is garbage. I mean, really, I'm going to be real right now. The AP is.
Seeing some of the teams that they're ranking, it's a
joke. Yeah.
So I'll start with my Class 1A rankings. At number 1, I remain with GCMS, followed by Lena Winslow at number 2. I still have Aurora Christian at number 3. At number 4, the Tuscola Warriors. Number 5, despite their loss, the Athens Warriors. Yes, that's right, they lost and I kept them at number 5. Why? Because they are a state title contender. Number 6, I have Dakota. Number 7, Princeville. Number 8, Ottawa Marquette. At number 9, I have the Forest and Cardinals. Rounding out my top 10 is Red Hill. And in my honorable mention, coming in at number 11 in the NUIC, the Milledgeville Missiles.
Very good, Kyle. My top is just a little bit different than yours. I like Lena Winslow in the number 1 spot, followed by Tuscola. Number 3, GCMS. Like you, I like Aurora Christian still high, coming off that loss, even high, because they're going to be in 1A this year.
No, they won.
Yeah. My bad.
You're thinking Hope.
Yeah, that's right. Ottawa Marquette at number 5. Also keeping Athens up towards top at number 6. Dakota at 7, jumping Princeville 8. I had those vice versa last week. Number 9 would be Red Hill, and number 10 Argenta. I also like Forreston at 11. And also coming in at number 12 on my list would be Milledgeville.
Very good, Shane. So our panel Class 1A vote is going to go like this. At number 1 is Lena Winslow after they beat our previous 2A number 14 West Carroll 37-8. GCMS beat Paxton Buckley Loda 28-0. They're number 2. Number 3 is Aurora Christian. They beat Chicago Urban Prep 69-14. Tuscola comes in at number 4 with their 57-0 win over Villa Grove. Don't rub it in or nothing, Jesus. Athens with that loss to 3A ranked Williamsville, 33-14. Dakota beat Galena, 35-0. They come in at number 6. And number 7 is Princeville with their thriller 14-7 win over Lewistown. At number 8 is Ottawa Marquette beating Dwight 28-7. At number 9 is Red Hill as they beat Flora 42-13. And rounding out our top 10 is Forreston as they beat Dupec 30-6. As far as our honorable mentions from the NUIC, Milledgeville is at number 11 with their 36-7 win over Amboy. And at number 16 is Stockton with their 46-6 win over Warren. On the Class 2A, Shane, at number 1, I have Maroa Forsyth. At number 2, I have the Orion Chargers. At number 3, the Sterling Newman Comets, the Blue Machine. At number 4, St. Teresa. At number 5, Chicago Hope. At number 6, I have Bismarck Henning. Coming in at number 7 are the Rockridge Rockets. At number 8 is West Hancock. Number 9 is Pana. At number 10 is Tri-Valley. And in the honorable mentions, at number 13 out of the NUIC, I have the EPC Wildcats.
A lot of similar teams here. I think I got just one team different than you, Kyle, just in a little bit of a different order. My number 1 team, I like Moreau Forsyth as well. Number 2 would be Sterling Newman, followed by Orion at 3. St. Teresa getting that big win over Tri-Valley, sitting at number 4. Rockridge at 5, followed by West Hancock at 6. 7, I like Pana. 8, I like Hope. I mean, they got their butts kicked, but, I mean, you can't discredit that. After Hope, I like Tri-Valley off their loss to St. Teresa, like we talked about. And my number 10 team would be Bismarck Henning. And out of the NUIC, 1 spot higher than you, I like EPC at 12.
Very good, Shane. So then that brings our Class 2A panel vote to this. At number 1 is Maroa Forsyth as they beat Verdon North Mac 35-6. At number 2 is Sterling Newman after beating Kewanee 48-0. At number 3 is their conference opponent rival Orion with their 42-21 win over Hall. At number 4 is St. Teresa as they beat Tri-Valley, who was previously ranked number 6 in our poll, 27-14. Number 5 is Chicago Hope after they lost to 8A Chicago Mount Carmel 42-7. The reason why they stay so high, if you don't remember, Chicago Mount Carmel was an 8A semifinalist last year. So Hope is still very much a 2A title contender. At number 6 is Rockridge. They beat Monmouth Roseville 28-22. At number 7 is West Hancock as they beat River Valley 58-12. Number 8 is Bismarck Henning after they beat Iroquois West 34-19. And number 9 is Pana with their 28-21 win over Greenville. And rounding out the top 10 is Tri-Valley, despite the loss to St. Teresa 27-14, still very much a threat in Class 2A. As far as our NUIC teams go, coming in at number 12 is EPC after they beat East Dubuque 28-0. And at number 17 is West Carroll, despite the fact that they lost to the number 1 team in Class 1A, Lena Winslow, 37-8.
And, you know, looking at 1A, we'll have some shifting going into next week when you got Lena Winslow and Forest. And, you know, providing that game goes the way we think, Milledgeville might be cracking that top 10 next week.
Well, and that's definitely true because if you look at what the AP have, they have Forest at number 5 with Lena Winslow at number 1. Dakota at number 12, and Milledgeville right behind them at 13.
Right, so the AP should include maybe a couple more. Well, I mean, I would think that if Forreston's knocked off by Lena Winslow the way we anticipate, you know, Dakota might slide in on the AP. And then as far as our version goes, you know, Milledgeville should definitely be out in the top 10, I would think.
Well, when the AP has Athens ranked at 16 or 17, whatever the hell it was, that's a joke and a half.
Right, and yeah, I mean, what was it? 12 votes, and I'm sure only one of them comes from this part of the city. So
right.
So what do you do?
Anyway, Athens, you're still on our radar. Don't worry. Keep doing what you're doing, Coach Knox and company. Anyway, that's our 1A and 2A class state rankings. So on to week 2 we go. So, Shane, we're going into our NUIC Power 5, and realistically, I don't think any of the 3 of us saw a change on our Power 5 from the week before.
Right. You know, all 5 won, some won in convincing fashion, others not so much so. So, yeah, I mean, my Power 5 is legitimately the same.
I mean, the final score
Right.
was there, but
maybe not
as far as the fashion of the game was different.
Yep.
So starting off the Power 5 at number 1, I still have the defending state champs Lena Winslow, followed by Dakota at number 2. At number 3 is EPC, and number 4 are the Forreston Cardinals. And rounding out my Power 5 are the Milledgeville Missiles.
Very well, and if you rewind the last 30 seconds, you'll have my Power 5. Like Lena Winslow, Dakota, EPC, Forreston, and Milledgeville.
And Carey's Power 5 also remained the same, with Lena Winslow at number 1, Dakota at number 2, Milledgeville at number 3, EPC at number 4, and Stockton at number 5. So there again, like we said last week, hard to argue with the picks. Each team is deserving of such.
Right.
So as we roll into the panel Power 5, that is also going to remain the same then. At number 1 are the Lena Winslow Panthers, and number 2 are the Dakota Indians. Number 3 are the EPC Wildcats, and number 4 are the Milledgeville Missiles. And at number 5 are the Forest and Cardinals. So that gives you a look at our Power 5 as we head into week 2. Should still be some good games going forward with that. You know, so I don't think, well, we might actually see some shake-up in the Power 5 with the Lena Winslow Forest to match up, depending on, you know, how Stockton handles South Beloit.
Yeah, I was literally just thinking here, like, there's a legitimate chance that my Power 5 might remain the same throughout the whole season based on a couple games. So, it is what it is.
You never know. I mean, that's why we call them a Power 5. But, anyway, there it is. Get out to the games. As always, root for the NUIC.